From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, July the 11th, 2022. Preparations are underway for the arrival of U.S. President Joe Biden to Israel on Wednesday. Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid, in a video message, called Biden one of the closest friends that Israel has ever had in American politics. Lapid said that the visit will deal with challenges like Iran and expanding security cooperation against all threats. Lapid noted that from Jerusalem, Biden will fly to Saudi Arabia, where he said he will carry a message of peace and hope from us. Israel extends its hand to all the countries of the region and calls on them to build ties with us, establish relations with us, and change history for the sake of our children. And in an op-ed for the Washington Post, President Biden wrote about why he is going to Saudi Arabia. Biden writes he will be the first president to fly from Israel to Jeddah in a small symbol of the budding relations and steps toward normalization between Israel and the Arab world, which my administration is working to deepen and expand. The president's residence in Jerusalem was gearing up for Biden as well, who will be accompanied by over 100 journalists. The Times of Israel shared a photo essay showing the preparations. Biden will arrive at the president's residence on Thursday, where President Isaac Herzog will bestow upon him Israel's Presidential Medal of Honor. Herzog, by the way, today is in the Czech Republic, where he awarded President Miloš Zeman the same honor. Israel's foreign ministry saying that the Israeli Presidential Medal of Honor Advisory Committee noted the Czech president's deep friendship with the Jewish people, his consistent support for Israel on the international stage, and his zero-tolerance policy toward terrorism and anti-Semitism. Well, Israel's Defense Minister Benny Gantz and Justice Minister Gideon Sa'ar announced that they will run on a joint slate in Israel's next elections, which are scheduled for November the 1st. In a newly established centrist party, combining the two names of their individual parties, Blue and White, the New Hope. Making the announcement last night, Gantz said, "Today we lay the foundation stone for the next government. Today, out of experience, recognition of reality, and with modesty, me and my partners Gideon Sa'ar, together with all the people of Blue and White and New Hope, begin to march towards the solution of the political crisis and establish the House of the State Center." The U.S. State Department today released a statement accusing Russia of anti-Semitism in its vilification of Ukraine. The JTA first reported on this statement, which reads in part, "One of the Kremlin's most common disinformation narratives to justify its devastating war against the people of Ukraine is the lie that Russia is pursuing the denazification of Ukraine. By evoking Nazism and the horrors associated with World War II and the Holocaust, the Kremlin hopes to delegitimize and demonize Ukraine in the eyes of the Russian public and the world." The statement also calls out Russia for targeting Ukraine's Jewish president, Vladimir Zelensky, writing the Kremlin disseminates false narratives attempting to delegitimize his Jewishness. The statement concludes that to serve its predatory ends, the Kremlin is exploiting the suffering and sacrifice of all those who lived through World War II and survived the Holocaust. Writing in the process, the Kremlin is detracting from critically important global efforts to combat anti-Semitism and is instead propagating one of anti-Semitism's most insidious forms, Holocaust distortion. With anti-Semitism on the rise around the world, it is imperative for all to call out this particularly pernicious kind of Russian disinformation. Well, judo opponents and close friends Israeli Sagi Muki and Iranian Azerbaijani Saeed Molai faced each other for the first time ever in a match this weekend in Hungary. If you recall, 3 years ago, Molai was ordered to refuse to fight Muki because he was Israeli at the 2019 World Championships, after which Molai fled Iran for Azerbaijan, for whom he now competes. The two became close friends since that incident, and finally, on Saturday, had their first matchup, which Molai won. The International Judo Federation shared photos of the two, calling theirs a beautiful friendship. And Mookie shared a photo as well, writing, "This image symbolizes a different kind of victory of sport over politics. The battle against my good friend Saeed Mulai was a long and considered battle that reached a gold score. The big message that passed today is a message of friendship against all odds, and within that, the ability of sports and friendship between us to bridge all the gaps." The two look forward to facing each other again when the Olympics take place in 2024 in Paris. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, July the 11th at 7 o'clock. Historian David Kaufman discusses the reasons Jews settled and thrived in New York City. At 8, Abigail Pogrebin sits down with Annie Polland, public historian, author, and president of the Tenement Museum in New York City. At 8:30, Jane Ziegelman discusses the habits of immigrants living in the Lower East Side tenements in the early part of the 20th century. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Howard Teich. At 10, Rabbi Naomi Levy speaks at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up next, I speak with iconic feminist Letty Cottin Pogrebin, who weighs in on the recent overturning of Roe v. Wade. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, July the 11th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.